Hey everyone, my name is Montana H from astrologyforbabes.com, where we talk about astrocartography, astrology, synastry, and other spiritually inclined topics through a modern practical lens. I am accepting clients for readings, so if you're interested in booking, check out the description box for more information on that. Today, I'm here to talk to you about sun lines and astrocartography. So, as we know, astrocartography is a subdivision of astrology where, simply put, we look at your natal chart and we map it out longitudinally and latitudinally on a global map in order to get a good understanding about the flavor of your life while you're in a particular location. Will the energy be supportive of your particular goals of finding love or boosting your career or starting a family? Or will you be working against some energies that are actively disruptive or difficult or destabilizing? And also what to do about all of this. So astrocartography is amazing if you're looking to relocate somewhere where the energy is more in alignment with your goals and where that energy can actually help you. It's also great if you're looking to go on vacation and you're wanting to be very intentional about the location you pick. Or just in general, if you're living somewhere and you want to understand more about the energies in that area and how they are either supporting you or making things a little bit more difficult so that you can step into a place of being in greater control and knowing, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. It's important to remember in astrocartography that looking at planetary lines like your sun line is really just scratching the tip of the iceberg as far as accurately predicting what energies an area is likely to have in store for you. And to truly be more accurate, in addition to checking out your planetary lines, you're going to want to employ more techniques to look at your map through different lenses. You're going to want to look at the condition of your natal chart. You're going to want to look at the relocated chart for that area that you're considering. You may want to check out your local space lines. You're going to want to look at your current astrological transits, etc., etc. But if you're looking to just understand sun lines, then this video is actually an excellent place to start. So let's start by talking about the sun in astrology, because so much of astrocartography starts with astrology. In astrology, the sun illuminates our ego and represents a pretty large part of our personality. The sign Leo is ruled by the sun, and the sun really does govern how one sees themselves and one's self-esteem. If you think about having high self-esteem or like being a hype man and building up other people's self-esteem, it's a very Leo trait. Like, think about the Leos in your life and you can bet that in general, they're really good at giving praise, really good at giving compliments and making you feel amazing about yourself. It's all very Leo and very solar. So in your natal chart, the sun illuminates any planet it touches. So for example, a sun conjunct Venus in your natal chart would put an intensification on Venusian themes in one's life. And by looking at where the sun is placed in one's natal chart, you can get an idea of their soul's purpose in this lifetime. So for example, in a natal chart, if the sun is placed in the 10th house, themes of career, success, social standing, recognition are all going to be important in that person's life. If the sun is placed in the 3rd house, the sun is really going to shine a light on communication, thought, intellect, and you can bet that person is going to love to communicate. So the sun also embodies a masculine, active energy, and you can compare that to the energy of the moon, which is in many ways an opposing energy to that of the sun. The moon is still, it's receptive, it's intuitive, versus the sun that boldly shines and it's a more dominant energy. So also in your natal chart, you can think about it. If your sun is negatively aspected, it can indicate problems with authority figures or even one's father. So it's very important to think about all of these things when you're looking at sun lines in astrocartography. Now that we have that good basis, let's talk about the general themes that may become highlighted in a person's life when they're on a sun line in astrocartography. So again, think Leo energy. Taking cues to all of the astrological signifiers that we just went over, sun lines in general are very pleasant places that tend to bring the person into the spotlight. The first general theme that someone may experience when they're on their sun line is that of fame, okay? So sun lines do bring a sense of presence and watching eyes, and it brings opportunities for you to step into the limelight. And this could be actual large scale fame, or it could be fame on a smaller scale that makes more sense for your particular life, like starting a successful YouTube channel that ends up taking off, okay? Or maybe there's a karaoke bar in your neighborhood and you become super well known around town for having an amazing voice, to the point where people say hi to you on the street even, okay? But either way, you are likely going to find that you're going to become known for something, and that the opportunities to shine are there on your sunline, and you're gonna wanna shine, even if you're more introverted typically, like you are going to wanna shine. Another common theme that comes into play on a sunline is that of leadership, okay? So on a sunline, you may find that it's easier to step into positions of leadership, be that in your friend group, in an organization, or at work. And on a more mundane level, you may find that people just in general hold you in high self-esteem as a respected authority. You can feel this kind of like a regal energy, okay? And you're gonna feel like you want to lead, right? You're gonna want to command that respect, and you're gonna want to be seen as someone who in your world has the knowledge and has the bravery and has that confidence to lead. So introverts, beware, okay? Be ready to be less introverted when you are on or near your sunline. The third major theme that may be prominent in your life when you're on a sunline is feeling a level of magnetism. So you may feel like you're walking with more pep in your step. You may feel like that you're finding yourself in situations where your natural talents and things that you love about yourself are put more on display. You may feel like things go your way more often, and that you're able to affect your will on the world more likely, right? And that like people are kind of more open to bending to your ego, and you step into your ego more. It's kind of like this feedback loop, right? Where you may feel this sense of pride or warmth originating from you feeling good, and people notice you feeling good, and they're positively affected by this, and you're positively affected by that, right? So it's this nice feedback loop that you may feel when you're on your sunline. This really nice level of magnetism. And lastly, I'm going to say that your sense of vitality and your bodily well-being may improve on a sunline. So the sun in astrology is your life force, right? Especially when in your natal chart, if your sun doesn't have any difficult aspects like a square to Saturn, right? You're going to likely feel better when you're on your sunline. It may almost feel as though you like low-key have this energy generator inside you, and before moving to your sunline it wasn't turned on, but now it is, and your core sense of life force just might be in for a really lovely noticeable boost. So those are the major themes of sunlines: fame, leadership, magnetism, and an increase in vitality. So now let's talk about the sunline as it hits those four very important points in your birth chart: the MC, the IC, the DC, and the AC. And again, you do want to think about where the sun is in your natal chart and what's going on with your angular houses in relation to your sun in your natal birth chart to get a better picture of how these energies that I'm about to talk about are likely to play out for you personally. So, you know what? Leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts as you're listening to all of this, and tell me what comes up for you. Again, if you have lived on your sunline, I want to hear your experience. I honestly love hearing about everyone's experiences with this. And that's actually one of my favorite parts about doing readings, is hearing my clients' experiences. So let's start with the sun MC line, since we're talking about solar energy and bright energy, right? In your personal natal chart, your MC is the most visible point in your natal chart. If your goal is to achieve a level of fame that we were talking about earlier, then you may actually enjoy your sun MC line. So sun and MC lines are going to bring the solar energy to your career, to your professional life, to your public persona. So on a sun MC line, you could attract a level of fame in your professional industry, becoming admired for your work. Your increased confidence can bring you higher rates of success in your professional endeavors. So you're not going to be able to sneak by unnoticed here. Your achievements are going to be recognized, and you're going to be given your flowers, okay? This is going to be relative to your world again. So if you have an opportunity in your particular world to be recognized on a grander scale, that's something that the energy of the sun line is going to support. But it could be something smaller, like winning more awards at work, or even getting promotions, which is also amazing, or starting a podcast and it going really, really well. You're just going to be stepping into becoming a solar figure. Okay, so let's talk about your sun IC line now. So if the sun MC is this super point of high visibility where your achievements become public and your star power is really encouraged to shine brightly, then the sun IC is in many ways the opposite of this energy, because in your natal chart, your IC is the lowest, most private part in your birth chart. The IC represents your lineage, your roots, your childhood, and even the four walls that make up your home. It's a very private, delicate space. Excuse me. Needed some water. So on a sun IC line, the warming, vibrant, comforting sun is shining its light into a part of your natal chart that's going to basically make for a pretty pleasant, homey vibe, okay? So your home life may take center stage in a way that lights you up with joy. It's not going to be a chaotic energy. It's not going to be surprising and hectic energy. It's just like nice and flowing. And because of this pleasant energy as it relates to your home life, sun IC lines are great places to retire. On a sun IC line, you're going to be pretty fulfilled just by being at home, or your home is going to be fulfilling in some way. There could also be an emphasis placed on your family and your lineage in some way. You could find an apartment that you love, right? These are ways that the sun energy can manifest as it relates to your IC point. Because the sun, again, is a masculine, authoritative energy, fatherhood could actually come into play on a sun IC line as well. So if you want a happy home and your sun is like nicely aspected and your fourth house in your natal chart looks pretty good as well, your sun IC line is probably going to feel really amazing. And I'm not talking about parents too much in this video or crossing points, but a sun moon parent could also be pleasant in a similar way as well. Okay, so let's talk about sun AC lines. So ascendant lines in astrocartography have everything to do with you. It's your appearance, it's yourself. It's more self-oriented than when we think about the ascendant in astrology, because in astrology, the ascendant is kind of like your outward appearance, but in astrocartography, you really can think of it as being more about yourself. So sun AC lines, they're kind of like Leo rising vibes. This is going to be popularity central on a sun AC line. If you want more attention and more adoration just for kind of being you, then a sun AC line might be exactly what you need. You're going to become more magnetic, new connections are going to be drawn to your energy. As a result, dating and making friends is easier, and kind of like the sun MC line, endeavors that put you in the spotlight are going to fare well here, including like being in a band or modeling or anything that you can do to attract more attention. It's pretty simple. Like, just get ready for people to get drawn to you. And this is gonna feed your ego, and it's gonna make you stand a little straighter, and it's gonna increase your confidence. And you may find yourself taking more pride in your appearance. That's kind of a Leo thing. You may find your sense of style changing to be a little bit more attention grabbing, and you're comfortable with this. You kind of like it. So again, check your natal chart to see how this is likely to play out for you. If your sun is trining Mercury in your natal chart, for example, you may find this Leo 9 energy comes out more in things related to Mercury, mercurial things like conversation or writing, or your level of popularity may be more concerned to your local neighborhood, because Mercury in traditional astrology rules your local neighborhood. So check your natal chart for more details and more nuances on how this is going to work for you. And lastly, let's talk about everyone's favorite topic, relationships, right? So this is going to be your sun DC line. If sun AC lines are all about you, on a sun DC line, the spotlight is going to be shown, or is going to shine. It's going to be shined. Is going to shine on your one-on-one relationships. Sun DC lines are very social places where the emphasis is placed on your friendships, your lovers, and also your client base, because we see that in the 7th house. So these locations are supportive of finding love, but in a different way than a Sun AC line is. So, for example, you may find a lover who, through their support and their adoration of you, becomes your biggest hype person, right? So that's a very Leonine energy. Or you may find yourself making friends and rubbing shoulders with the cool crowd, right? So your relationships with authoritative figures could also improve and become more smooth and be a source of pride for you. So yes, Sun DC lines are a source of supportive relationships, but the relationship energy may not be all about you. It's kind of like less about you and more about the relationship itself. Another good thing is that if you're looking to build clientele, or if you work in an industry where you have clients, then these one-on-one relationships may flow more smoothly. And you might even find yourself working with notable figures on a Sun DC line. So I do want to emphasize one more time that in order to be accurate, you do really want to employ a variety of astrocartographic techniques to really understand how these different energies are going to play out for you, specifically based on your natal birth chart, because everyone's birth chart is so different, and that's going to show up in like the nuances of how you experience a Sun AC line or a Sun MC line. Also, you may want to again look at your local space lines. You want to look at your current transits to get a better understanding of what's going on with some of those slower moving planets. And you're also going to want to take a look at your relocated chart as well. And if you have questions, leave them in the comments. Book a reading with me. I am happy to help, and I hope that all of this was helpful for you. If it was, press like please, and subscribe if you want to see more of this type of content.